Hello everyone, it's Jenny DeFreece here. I sure miss all of you and am so looking forward to getting back in the swing of things. And what better way to start than by starting with our volunteer refresher training. During this training session, I will share a staffing change in our Patron Services Department, review most of the volunteer program changes for the upcoming season, and last, I'll refresh you on a few things that you recommended in the survey I sent out a month ago. Let's start with the Patron Services Team update. For those of you who haven't heard, Front of House Supervisor Cynthia Grant left her role at the Kauffman Center this past June. Here is a note written by Cynthia, which is included in the August volunteer newsletter. I worked alongside Cynthia for the past 10 years, and I'm going to miss seeing her dressed to the nines every single time I saw her. I'm going to miss an annual surprise gift of the Kansas City Chiefs flag that she'd leave on my desk, and most importantly, her wonderful advice whenever I had questions or concerns regarding the volunteer program. She has always been a big part of this amazing team and will be greatly missed. Also, our Patron Services Manager, Shannon Madden, resigned from the Kauffman Center just this month. Shannon also wrote a note to all of you, and it's included in the Volunteer August newsletter. Having Shannon on our team these past 5 years has been rewarding. Her expertise was just what we needed, and I'm going to miss her humor, patience, voice, and friendship. Good luck to you, Shannon. Next, I'd like to review most of the volunteer program changes for the upcoming season. These include parking options that are available to volunteers, the volunteer drink policy, accommodations and special considerations, the dining experience, programs, and last, we will refresh you on the volunteer uniform policy, how and what to update in your profile in VSys Live, and where you can find the 2021-2022 Volunteer Handbook, which just came out. First, we will go over some changes to our parking options that are available to volunteers. Although we appreciate those who park in other lots or on the street to further contribute to the Kauffman Center by avoiding the $10 parking charge, secured parking in the Arts District garage is recommended this year. As things change, we will likely once again suggest volunteers park in other lots, like the one at 1616 Broadway, or on the street. We worked with Laz Parking and created the following procedures for parking in the garage. We'll start with what to do when there is an attendant on duty. Step 1. At entry, hand a volunteer parking pass to the parking attendant. Step 2. The parking attendant will hand you two things, a parking ticket and a chaser validation ticket. Step 3. Leave the parking ticket in your car, and we recommend you keep the chaser validation ticket with you. But remember, you will need both to exit. Step 4. At exit, hand the parking attendant your parking ticket and chaser validation ticket. Now let's go through the steps when there is no attendant on duty. Step 1. At entry, push the button to get a parking ticket. Step 2. Leave the parking ticket in your car. Step 3. On the volunteer sign-in sheet, check the box next to your name so we can make sure and give you a chaser validation ticket before you leave. Note, only check the box next to your name if you are the person driving, not the passenger. After your shift, you can pick up a chaser validation ticket in the volunteer office. And step 4, at exit, hand the parking attendant your parking ticket and your chaser validation ticket. Note, if for some reason there isn't a parking attendant, simply put your parking ticket in the machine followed by your chaser validation ticket. A few important things about the volunteer parking passes. Blank passes can be picked up from the volunteer office and should be kept in your car. They need to be legibly filled out entirely, only to be used when you are volunteering, not when you are a patron. If a volunteer forgets a volunteer parking pass and needs to park in the Arts District garage, the Kauffman Center is unable to issue a refund. Also, to maintain a patron-first approach, please park on level 4, which is the lowest level in the garage. Lock all of your belongings in your trunk, or put in a locker in the volunteer office. When leaving, walk to your car with a buddy, or if you are unable to find a buddy, let a staff member know. This means the surface lot at 1616 Broadway is not available. Should that change, we will let you know. And you can find all the parking information I just went over in the 2021-2022 Volunteer Parking Locations and Procedures handout. Next, we'll talk about our volunteer drink policy. I hate to say this, but due to the pandemic, one of the things we had to change was our volunteer drink policy. The previous drink policy, which allowed volunteers to enjoy non-alcoholic beverage during certain times, retired on July 1st, 2021, and will no longer remain as a volunteer perk. We know how much you appreciated that perk, but with the limited number of Bonterra staff, they are unable to obtain this service. Also, the price of each drink went up tremendously, which did not help at all. With that being said, volunteers will have access to a bottle of water during their shift with details outlined as follows. 8-ounce water bottles are available in the refrigerator located in the volunteer office. Water bottles can be refilled at a drinking fountain. Volunteers are encouraged to recycle the plastic bottle in a blue container, but regardless, please do not leave your bottles at your post. Water bottles need to be hidden from patrons' view, should never be consumed in view of a patron, and should not be taken into the venues at any time. If working any ancillary position, please reach out to the ATC, which is your ancillary team captain, for appropriate locations to store your water bottle, i.e. like placing water bottle on top of a stanchion, a trash can, etc. is not approved. Volunteers will not be able to purchase their own drink while on duty. The only approved beverage is the water bottle provided by the Kauffman Center. This includes bringing your own larger bottle or a reusable container. Now, this policy may be rescinded or discontinued at any time. Moving on to accommodations and special considerations. This season, the Patron Services team will be asking each volunteer to indicate any accommodations they would like to request in their VSys Live profile. Accommodations are a necessary and reasonable modification to a role so that an individual may participate fully in our operations. While accommodations do not change the expectations, reduce the requirements, or change what a volunteer is required to do as part of their involvement in the Kauffman Center Volunteer Program, they do allow us to ensure that each volunteer can meaningfully participate in a way that is most safe and comfortable for them. We would like to distinguish accommodations from preferences, or as they are referred to in VSys Live, special considerations. Accommodations are generally meant for those who have a physical, mental, or emotional need. Special considerations are simply something that a volunteer prefers to do or not do while they are volunteering. Accommodations listed within VSys Live profiles include can't work in cold temperatures, can't work in hot temperatures, hard of hearing, have low vision, have vertigo or fear of heights, need location with limited stairs, not able to use any stairs, and no heavy lifting. Please let us know if you have a need that is not on this list. We are committed to working with volunteers to provide reasonable accommodations. So, how does a volunteer let us know that they need an accommodation? Volunteers can indicate in their VSys Live profile what accommodations, if any, are needed. The volunteer will need to log into VSys Live, select My Info from the top menu, and then choose Update My Profile. Any accommodation that is selected will automatically appear next to the volunteer's name for each shift they are working, which the performance lead will note when making assignments. And an important note, since we recently updated our accommodations, please make sure the accommodations you need, if any, are indicated in your profile. In contrast to an accommodation, a special consideration is when a volunteer prefers to do or not do something rather than cannot do something. Examples of special considerations includes a volunteer took the Brandmeier Grade Hall greeter training, but they want more practice before they volunteer in that role. They might note, "No BGH greeter, please," when they sign up for a shift. Another example is, a volunteer can generally work in the cold, but would rather not be right inside the north doors when it's this cold. They might indicate south doors if possible when they sign up to be a ticket taker. And last, a volunteer's family purchased tickets for a performance, and the volunteer would like to seat them. They can add a comment such as, "Request parterre door 4, family is attending." Important note, performance leads cannot guarantee that every special consideration will be approved, as they must first prioritize the needs of the presenting organization and patrons. How does a volunteer let us know that they would like to request a special consideration? Well, after a volunteer has signed up for a shift, they can ask for a special consideration by adding a comment to the shift. The volunteer can do this by moving their mouse over the shift and then selecting Add Comment. And here's an example of what that looks like. Important note, we are discouraging volunteers from asking for special considerations related to floor, level, door every time they sign up for a shift. The reason why is that we were getting to a point where over half of our volunteers for a shift were requesting us not to assign them to levels 6 and 7. Then there would be around 10 volunteers requesting the same floor or doors, which only left us with 5 to 10 volunteers who didn't leave any comments, and those would be the ones who would get assigned levels 6 and 7, which isn't fair and potentially leaves us in a bind. So we would greatly appreciate it if you limit the number of times you add a comment for special considerations, so we can accommodate those who truly need to be assigned a specific location. Our next item is the dining experience. Bonterra will be rebuilding its team throughout the fall and winter of 2021, and staffing levels will not be at a level that can successfully sustain the restaurant. In addition, the projected financial model does not support reopening the dining experience restaurant before 2022. We will make sure to continue to update you if anything changes. Now moving on to programs. For those of you who are always feeling guilted into stuffing programs when you arrive early for your shift, that will happen less frequently. Why? A lot of our performances will feature digital programs where patrons can access it online with their mobile device. The communication to patrons will vary performance to performance, with information being shared with volunteers at each event. One of the most popular items mentioned in the survey I sent out was questions regarding our volunteer uniform policy. In order to make sure everyone understands what that is, I've outlined a few objectives that I want to make sure you are refreshed on. The first one is that you should all know what our uniform policy is. Second, where you can find this policy along with the other volunteer policies. Third, to expect more attention will be made to uniform compliance. And fourth, what to do if you have questions. It is important to remember that each and every one of you has a personal responsibility to always present yourself in a manner that creates a positive impression. One of the best ways to do this is by dressing appropriately and professionally. So, what does the volunteer dress standard include? A white, long-sleeved, Oxford-colored shirt without lace, embellishments, or patterns, tailored cotton or polyester shirts, kind of like the type of shirt that you would pair with a knotted tie, are preferred. Shirts should be tucked into the volunteer's slacks or skirt. This means no 3/4 arm length shirts, no short sleeve shirts, no collars with lace or other designs, and no off-white colored shirts. Solid black slacks, solid black knee-length skirts, but no shorter than 2 inches above the knee, or floor-length skirts may be worn. This means no ankle-length slacks, no jeans, no skirts that are too short, and no skirts. If socks are worn, keyword here is if, they must be black. If pantyhose are worn, they must be black or nude. This means no white, no brown, no decorative, no gray, and the list goes on for socks. Remember, if socks are worn, only black. Moving on to shoes. Comfortable, solid black, closed-toed shoes. This means no black shoes with white or any other color of soles. No open-toe shoes. Every volunteer needs to have a blue vest that fits appropriately. This means your vest should button and it should not be too big. On your vest, your name tag needs to be worn on the right side of your vest. If you have a 5-year pin, that needs to go directly above your name tag. Last, jewelry, hairstyles, fragrances, piercings, and facial hair should be an appropriate taste for a customer service position. This means your appearance cannot draw attention from patrons or cause a distraction. I know, good looks is something all of us cannot help. And it gets pretty bright in Brandmeier Great Hall, so if you need to wear sunglasses to help out, you can wear our Kaufman Center purchased sunglasses, which can be checked out and returned to coat check. Also, the only other approved sunglasses that can be worn in Brandmeier Great Hall are prescription sunglasses. Where can you find the volunteer uniform policy? The entire uniform policy can be found in 2 places: the 2021-2022 Volunteer Handbook and the documents in VSys Live. To pull up these documents, you log into VSys Live, go to the menu at the top and select More, then News and Info, and then Documents. If a staff member, like a team captain, performance lead, volunteer manager, notices that a volunteer is not following the volunteer uniform guidelines, they will have a discussion and then either send the volunteer home or inform the volunteer that they will need to arrive in proper uniform for their next volunteer shift. If you have any questions about the uniform policy, please reach out to me, Jenny DeFreece, at volunteer@kaufmancenter.org. Next, let's talk about updating your profile in VSys Live. When you log into VSys Live, select from the top My Info drop-down menu at the top of the page. Update My Profile, and it will bring you to your personal information page. I've included a screenshot of how to do this in VSys Live, so I hope it helps. First, verify that your contact information is correct. Second, we've updated or added a few fields, and we would want you to fill them out or update to make sure everything is correct. These additional fields include birthday. Only need month and day, as this is where we get your information for the volunteer newsletter. Would you want to receive emergency text notifications on your cell phone? An example is shift canceled due to weather. In 2019 and 2020, we only had to use this feature once, so it doesn't happen very often. Blue uniform vest size. We like to have this information to make sure we have your size on the rack should we need a last-minute dry cleaning of the vest. Your t-shirt size, face mask size, any accommodations you have read the 2021-2022 Volunteer Handbook, emergency contact information. Please make sure all of your information is updated or added as soon as possible, and don't forget to select the big blue button, Submit button at the bottom of the page, or else it won't save any of the information you just entered. And our last topic is the 2021-2022 Volunteer Handbook. All of the information that I have gone over in this video and in everyone else's video is included in the 2021-2022 Volunteer Handbook, which again can be found in the Documents section in VSys Live. Please take some time to read through the entire handbook. You may have forgotten something or you might learn a few things, but it is highly recommended that you read it. And once you have read the new handbook, you'll want to check the box that you've read it and update my profile in VSys Live. Now, if you have any questions or concerns about this training, please feel free to reach out to me via phone or email. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this training and all the other refresher training videos. Your dedication means the world to us, and we truly appreciate each and every one of you. Love and hugs, and see you soon. Bye.